In this video, I'm going to talk about the multi-sample sphericity assumption that is associated with the mixed design ANOVA. You may recall from the textbook, I tested that assumption with a test known as Box's test of equality of covariance matrices. What I'm going to do is show you in a little more detail what that implies, equality of covariance matrices. So going to Data, Split File, I want to compare groups, specifically the CBT group and the discussion group. Click OK, and then go into Analyze, Scale, Reliability Analysis. Place the three levels of the dependent variable into the Items box, click Statistics, and click Covariances. Click Continue and click OK. Now what SPSS does is it produces an inter-item covariance matrix. And so what we have on the main diagonal are the variances. So the pre-treatment variance is 415.35 for the CBT group, and the discussion group variance for that same variable is 640. Now in the between subjects context, you're familiar with the homogeneity of variance assumption, which is tested by the Levene's test. Levene's would only be testing the difference between the variances across the groups. In this context, multi-sample sphericity is testing the variances across groups, yes, CBT and discussion. The covariances are also in this table, and the multi-sample sphericity assumption is also assuming that the covariances are equal across groups. I mean, technically, if you go back to the one-way within subjects ANOVA chapter, it's really that the standard error of the difference between the conditions is equal across groups, but you can kind of get a sense for that by looking at the covariances. So the covariance between pre-treatment and post-treatment is 348.9 for the CBT group, and for discussion it's 584.98. Again, everything seems to be a bit bigger on the discussion side. The discussion group seems to have bigger variances and it seems to have bigger covariances. And so, at least based on the numbers, you'd think, oh, maybe the multi-sample sphericity assumption is going to be violated. But it wasn't. It wasn't violated. And in my opinion, that's in part because the sample size was so small, and this test is sample size dependent. Now, if you violate the assumption of multi-sample sphericity, it's not really a big deal. You can just consult the Handfelt adjustment, which can be found here, Handfelt. Here are the Handfelt adjusted p-values. So if you violate the assumption of multi-sample sphericity based on Box's m-test, you can just consult the Handfelt adjusted results. Now I do give you more rules about when you can use the Handfelt adjustment based on the number of groups and the sample sizes, and if your sample sizes are unequal, I also give you a recommendation. I recommend you check that out.